You want some of that?
Give me the tweet.
You want some of that tweet action? God, you make me sick.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
Y'all got any more than tweets?
Give it to me.
Okay. Relax, Sammy Hagar. I got one for you. You ready for one of the best tweets this week? Here we go. CultCast is live talking Apple's incoming 2022 hardware explosion. R.I.P. FICO score. So bad.
R.I.P. FICO
score. Because everyone's just going to put themselves into so much debt because they're going to be buying so much Apple stuff. Are you ready for this? I'm going full volume. I hope you're ready. We don't have a little wimpy Caney here, so I can go full volume. Are you ready? Boom! And we're live. Konath is here. He's saying, hey, y'all. Gary Gibson is here. Oh, Gary, I think you might be new, huh? Welcome. And we're waiting for people to trickle in. We got no LK this week, and I'm pretty sure I've got both Omicron and Delta. So we'll see what happens. Where's the tweet? Adam Broussard said, we're way ahead of you. Yeah.
I somehow lost the tweet.
Tweet's coming out. You lost the tweet.
I got it. I found it.
Unbelievable. LK leaves in its amateur hour, which is more amateur than normal. So yeah, I'm sick, but I'm powering through. LK, well, let's just say that we did in fact have to activate his his Apple Digital Legacy. So we've been going through his notes and his old photos. It's very touching. And we'll be having a memorial in his name sometime the next week or two. Jason Autry's here. He got the Rona too. Oh man, you did. We're Omni over here. Oh, dude, Anna Broussard's got it too. So Lewis and I were just talking about this. And Gary Gibson's here. He says he's been listening and watching since episode 1. Now, what were you watching on episode 1, Gary? That's what I'd like to know because we weren't doing video at that point. But we have an OG member of the Gov Club here. Do I have a sound effect for you? There it is. That one's for Gary. That one's for Gary. So yeah, I started getting sick last week, and then it just moved through my whole family, and we've all got something, and I don't know what it is, but it could be that thing which we shan't name here on the show, because I've been pretty sick, and it's going through weird permutations. Like one day, I feel really lethargic and I have a sore throat. I've had a cough throughout this whole thing. And then the next day, my sore throat's gone, but then I have a really bad headache all day. It's just been totally bizarre. And we know two families, I was just telling Lewis this, two families that have both gotten that which can't be named, which is probably one of the first times that I've actually known anyone personally that I can think of that's actually gotten it. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's all over the place, man. Leander thought he had it. He thought his whole family had it. They all got tested. They did not.
But they
have
didn't.
It.
Okay. That's kind of what I think is going to happen with me and my family. I think we just have colds.
Yeah. Suzanne and I had the sniffles.
Yeah.
You know, and
yeah.
we're sneezing a lot. My
Doctor,
nose kind of keeps
sneezy.
running. I don't know. I feel a little tightness in my chest. I'm sure that's not just anxiety. Yeah, Suzanne got tested. She doesn't have it, supposedly.
Okay.
Guy on my darts team does.
Really? Yeah.
Guy on the darts team came down with it. I heard it through the grapevine. I'm like,
wow, it's so
sent him
weird.
a message. Hey, is it true? Heard you got it. And he's like, yeah. I said, okay. You okay? He said, yeah, I just got some, bad chest congestion. I'm like,
huh. Oh, so he does have chest congestion.
Oh, that's all? Just bad chest congestion? I said, let me know if you need anything, man.
Like some chest compressions.
Jeez.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's weird. Leander got one of those.
I'm gonna mute every time I have to. Yeah, go ahead.
Leander got an exposure notification last week.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Man.
Which does anybody remember those? We should talk about that on the show, actually.
Those
just a
kind
quick
of
thing.
You mean like the contact tracing stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, look.
I like that. Okay.
Well, I'm looking at our numbers drop precipitously, and I'm like, okay, look, we gotta.
Nobody wants to talk about
nobody wants to hear us talk about this stuff. We do actually have a lot of Apple stuff to talk about this week. We're going to be talking about all of our upcoming 2022 hardware expectations, Apple's hardware explosion 2022, because I got some information here to share with you guys. I think you're going to like, and this is it, man. Lewis, this is the year that Apple's going to finish their transition. And you know what I compare it to? it's like the end of the fireworks show on 4th of July, right? It's like you get all the fireworks, right? And then you get to the end, it's like boom, bang, bing, boom, bang, whiz. And it's like all the really cool stuff in the last 10 seconds of the fireworks show. That's going to be Apple's 2022, I think. So we got a lot of new hardware on the way, and this is it. This is their final play. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and cue up Mrs. You Know Who, and we will get this show rolling. Oh, Mrs. D. Where's that delicious El Katie and his mammal outfit? Oh, well, he's not here. Oh, for shame. He'll be back next week, though, I think, assuming the defibrillator was charged. And we'll have him on the show. He's on vacation, right, Lewis? Where did he go? Yeah, he's in Joshua Tree, you said.
That's what I believe that they took a road trip, and
Okay.
I think that that might be where they headed. That might be where they are now. I don't know. Haven't heard from him a couple days. He might be just completely off the grid.
Okay, so if you come into contact with a surly,
Well, you'll smell him before you see him.
combative British man who's cloudy-eyed and mumbling a lot and possibly has Tourette's, you may have spotted him. If you get shanked or punched by somebody in his family, well, you've met the Caney clan, so good for you. Let's go ahead and get the music going here, Lewis, and let's talk about some Apple news here. Wait a second. Oh, never mind. There it is. Here
What in the world?
we go. Hello, and welcome to CultCast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Aaron Elijah. Join me today while Leander Caney is out vacationing again. He, of course, is left doing all the dirty work in the CultMac World headquarters, preparing slop for the riders, spraying them with the hose for cleaning time, running them down on horseback when they escape. He's the managing editor of CultMac. Lewis Wallace is here.
Yeah. Good thing is now with the COVID, everybody's got the COVID, and so they can't smell the slop. It's good.
So I thought I had COVID back when all of this started, right when everything was started, and I did lose my sense of smell and my sense of taste for a whole week. It was the strangest thing. Have you ever lost your sense of taste for a period of time?
I mean, I've been accused of having no sense of taste, but yeah, no, I have not. Had a girlfriend once who couldn't smell anything. Hit her head when she was a kid.
Really?
Never regained her sense of smell. That came in
Wow.
handy.
That's really interesting. I wonder if she could go like a chiropractor and like get it back or something. Anyway, she should try that.
Yeah, just
so
a quick crack and everything will be fine.
It was so disheartening losing my sense of taste and smell. Sense of smell, maybe not as much as a sense of taste, but when you eat food and you can't taste it, it's a very strange experience. So there's this Thai food restaurant that we always go to every week, and I look forward to it. Right? Like I'm programmed to. It's Friday. We're going to the Thai food place, and we got the food, and I couldn't taste anything. And so instead of getting taste sensation, my mouth was focused on like the texture sensation, so I could like chew. I could really sense how firm the noodles were when I was biting through them, and like you're chewing it, and you can feel like the form of the food in your mouth, but you can't actually taste anything. It's very it really sucks because you have this itch that you can't scratch. Your senses want to taste that taste, but you just can't do it. You know.
I think you'd lose a lot of weight, man. You just like the whole
I
joy
think
of
you would
eating would
too.
just be like, yeah, I'll just have some cornflakes or something.
Yeah. You would just eat whatever's most convenient because you just can't taste anything. So it was very weird. So anyway, I am sick. I'm not sure what we have yet. We're waiting for the results, the test results.
Ah, jeez.
If you're wondering why I'm dressed like I'm going on an Arctic expedition, it's because it has been super cold in Seattle, like historically cold. We have been down into almost the single digits, which I have not experienced
Whoa.
before in Seattle, I think. Ever.
Wow.
And it's been a long period of time that we've been in the low teens, high in mid 20s, and there's just snow everywhere. There's been snow on the ground since the day after Christmas, and it's so cold it just hasn't gone anywhere. So I everywhere I go, I'm in like my snow bib, my boots, you know.
Snow bib. What's that? Bib overalls?
Yeah. No, I don't actually have bib overalls.
Oh,
I
okay.
wish I did actually, because I keep going sledding with my kids. We live right next to this hill, and so we keep going sledding. and I don't have any snow pants or anything. So,
Well, that's why you're sick.
oh, you think so?
Sledding in the
Well,
we
I was
come
sick when we
back
went
like
sledding.
drenched.
No. No, it's too cold. So we're completely. When I get to my door, I literally just brush the snow off and I go inside. I'm not wet at all because it's so cold outside.
It's got that real like dry, dusty
Yes.
snow thing.
Yeah, exactly. But when you're
Ugh.
sledding and it's this cold, like the snow is really powdery, right? And I don't have snow pants. And so you have an Arctic vortex of snow blowing up your pant legs, circumnavigating your globes, if you know what I'm saying. At about 15 miles an hour, and then you're just wearing jeans. So I need to get like a snow bib or something. I need to get a review unit.
I remember that when you're it's so cold that your jeans are like stiff.
Oh yeah.
They feel like cardboard or
Yeah.
something. So,
Yeah.
man,
That's my jeans,
it's been
man.
cold in San Francisco this week. I mean, it's not that cold, but it's been down to like high 30s. That's pretty rare for San Francisco.
Yeah, I think our weather patterns are similar. We're like sister cities. Konath is commenting on my desaturation. Don't you ever talk about my colors again, Konath. Don't you even mention it. All right, well, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Before we do, let me just enrich myself, if you don't mind, by talking about CultCloth.co. Baby. Do I have one here? I sure do. Dudes, there's just nothing like CultCloth. If you are meticulous in taking care of your technology, your glasses, your sunglasses, your TV, any of your premium tech or lenses, camera equipment, you got to get yourself some CultCloth. My kids with their grimy little hands have been will not leave my new OLED, my new C1 LG OLED alone. Anytime I see them touch the TV with their hands, they think it's a giant iPad. I always growl at them. I'm like, get away from my TV. Sometimes I'll hit them with stuff like a broom or something, get them away from the TV. But the thing is just covered with fingerprints, and I have to go and ever so gently clean off all the fingerprints. And with my CultCloth, it just makes it so easy. I'm holding up here the CultCloth Duo. It's the mullet of high performance cleaning cloths. It's got high pile on one side, short pile on the other side, so it's great for cleaning your screens and your keyboards at the same time, your iPhone. And with these long fibers on the long side, it will reach down into the cracks and crevices, the places that I warn you shan't go normally, and just pull out all the detritus from those areas. And so it really leaves your stuff clean, whereas a lot of cleaning cloths, they're really flat, and they will clean the main surfaces, but they'll push off all the grease and all the other stuff to the crevices where it can't grab because it doesn't have the power of CultCloth. And, of course, nothing's made with the special threads that we have, these threads that go through a special process. They break them down, and so they drastically increase the cleaning power, and you can feel it working. Just rub your fingers on it right now. All the little threads, they're grabbing on. They're trying to clean my fingertips. Oh, look how clean those fingertips are, Lewis. Have you ever seen fingertips that clean? But wait, there's more. Actually, there's not that much more. Yeah. What?
I think I know what you need to do for your next batch.
Yeah.
Bright colors.
Because
you got kind of an iPhone Pro color scheme going there.
Yeah, I do. You're right.
It's very sophisticated.
We used to have brighter colors, and I was like, I feel like going gray. We have these really nice gray hues right now, and I really like that.
Titanium.
Titanium gray. So I kind of like. Actually, I would say this is more of a titanium gray. It doesn't seem like it's brown enough for this. Anyway, CultCloth.co. If you'd like to get yourself some CultCloth, CultCloth.co. If you use code CultCast at checkout, you'll score yourself a free 8x8 carry cloth with any order. And those are the ones that are great for cleaning your stuff on the go. You're just going to love your CultCloth. You're just going to love it. I guarantee it. All right, let's move on. Should we talk about some Apple stories here, Lewis?
Oh, why bother?
Lewis and I have actually already been talking for close to 2.5 hours because we started before we went live. We sat and just discussed life for a full freaking hour.
Septic tanks.
And we talked about septic tank strategies and all sorts of other interesting topics. So let me just show you a tweet before we get going here, because I think this tweet encapsulates what we're in store for here for 2022 when it comes to Apple hardware. Let's see if this works. It worked. Dylan DTK. He's been, I have to say, he's been one of my favorite leakers this year. Kind of came out of nowhere, has gotten a ton of stuff right. And he says 2022 is shaping up to be one of the biggest years for Apple in over a decade. And I thought, hyperbole? Maybe, but I don't think so. This might actually be right. We're coming to the close of Apple's transition over to Apple Silicon. There's a lot of hardware that still hasn't moved over. And I think we're up for some really exciting stuff. So, with that said, let me toss it over to who's going first. I guess it's me, isn't it?
I don't know.
Oh no, yeah, it is
Looks to
me.
me like
It is me. There's one other.
the other tweet.
There's one other tweet I wanted to show, and let's start off with this one. Now, I had to say that this is probably the tech that I'm most excited for in 2022, and I'm talking about the iMac, as I've dubbed it, the iMac Pro, quote unquote. Who knows what they'll end up calling it? It could just be a high-end iMac, but we know Apple is working on one, and we had a tweet from Dylan DTK. He's talking about the iMac Pro, and he's going through the specs that he expects it to have. ProMotion and mini LED backlight, base model is 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of storage, M1 Pro and Max available, dark bezels, HDMI, SD card slot, USB-C. Similar design to iMac 24-inch and Pro Display XDR, so it's basically going to look like the Pro XDR display. Starting price over $2,000. Ethernet on brick standard. Face ID was tested, not confirmed if it's coming or not. First half of 2022. Now here's my dilemma here, old Lewis Wallace. I really would love to have a new Mac, and I have the 2019 currently MacBook Pro, and it's a great machine, but it's no M1 Max, if you know what I'm saying, and hopefully you do. But the thing about it is it doesn't have an Ethernet port, and it's battery powered, and I just don't know if I need something that's portable at this point. And I really, really would love to have something that has 10G Ethernet and maybe has a little bit larger of a screen. So it's making it hard for me to make the decision here. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's going to come in the first half of 2022, it's like, do I just wait it out? You know?
Well, geez, you've already waited. Yeah, I hate that when you don't buy a product right after it gets released, and then like, a month later, you're like, oh, I wish I bought that. Oh, geez, I don't know. Yeah, it's tough, man. I I don't know. I mean, I like having a MacBook because I like being able to just unplug it, take it somewhere else. If you need to I had to take the wife to the doctor the other day, right? I took the MacBook with me. I didn't end up using it actually because we were in and out that fast, which is shocking. But it's nice to be able to just pop it in your bag and take it. I mean, they're so small and light and powerful. It's just the MacBook Air. I mean,
well, I was thinking, a nice combo would be iMac Pro, MacBook Air. That'd be a pretty tasty combo right there.
Do you need two computers?
Does anyone need two computers? Does anyone need two televisions? Does anyone need two eyeballs, Lewis? Or could you make do with one?
I would say yes.
I bet you if you got into a fight with a Cyclops, he would destroy you. So I can't prove that.
Also, a guy with an eye patch, would probably take me down.
Oh, that's a great point. If you met a guy with an eye patch, that dude is definitely going to kick your ass. And he won't need depth perception to do it.
That's right.
Let's move into the actual story here, Lewis, because there's some other details here. So let me send it over to you to talk about the rest of the stuff from this story.
Yeah, so this is one of our what to expect from blah, blah, blah in 2022 series. We're running these all this week. This one's what to expect from iMac in 2022. So this could be the year that Apple takes iMac to the next level. Various leaks point to an iMac Pro with a blazing fast processor and a beautiful screen, much as you just mentioned. This would be a redesigned 24-inch iMac with an Apple M1 processor launched in 2021. I'm sorry, excuse me. I'm having such a bad day, such a bad week. Excuse me.
Clear your throat.
I don't know.
Cleanse your chi, and let's get this thing.
It's not the COVID. I'm sure it's not. We got the redesigned 24-inch.
Yeah, we did.
With M1.
Yep.
But the 27-inch one currently runs on Intel chips still. We never got the bigger one. So that's what they're saying, that this next year we'll get the bigger one that we've been talking about.
That's
So
right.
I don't even know why that sentence was even pasted in the show notes, to be quite honest. I should have done a little bit of due diligence here.
Unbelievable.
So supposedly what this is going to come up with is M1 Max Duo chip with up to 20 cores for processing and up to 64 cores for graphics. Make future all-in-one desktop even faster than the new MacBook Pro with the M1 Max. So that's what they got to do, right? If they got to make it better, they got to make it faster, they got to make it better. Built-in display on this thing supposedly be mini LED, higher contrast, blacker blacks, improved brightness, ProMotion display with 120 kilohertz refresh rate.
120 hertz. There's no K
Oh
in
yeah,
there,
hertz.
Lewis.
Sorry. 120 kilohertz. Whoa, baby.
And different colors. Did you mention the colors?
Different colors.
Yeah, that's part of the story. Now, the colors I'm showing here are probably not representative of what we're going to get, but there's also been a rumor that they're going to come in different colors, Lewis, and maybe like more professional colors.
Yeah, I've heard that. I think the thing that I read said that maybe they wouldn't come in the bunch of different color options.
Well, we've heard both. I mean, we've heard yes, we've heard no.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, at this point, no one really knows. We've also heard 27 inches for the screen. We've heard 32 inches for the screen. I personally feel like it has to be bigger than 27 because 27 is pretty small for a professional screen. Though I think 27 is probably like the bare minimum you can make it, but I would clearly like to have one that's much bigger. The one thing that really wants me that I want to wait for the iMac Pro for again is 10G Ethernet. Not having Ethernet on the MacBook Pro is just because I want to edit off a NAS. I mean, these things are supposed to be video editor dream machines, right? You can get an adapter and use a Thunderbolt adapter for Ethernet, but it's just not the same as having an Ethernet port on your computer. And then, of course, they're able to make the machine bigger and probably increase the cooling capacity. So they may be able to draw more power, more performance out of the M1 Pro, M1 Max. And then, of course, we've heard about the like a possibility of an M1 Duo chip, which is basically like or SoC, which is basically like two M1 Maxes in the same machine. So it looks like it's going to be an absolutely killer machine for video editors, and it's probably also going to be cheaper than the MacBook Pro. So it's a hard decision, Lewis. It's like, oh, I really would love to have something now, but first half of 2022 is when we're thinking this might come out. It's like that could be 6 months away. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying,
Right.
Lewis?
Yeah, I've been hearing some people saying like, oh, well, if it's going to cost over, start at $2,000, well, that's like a deal breaker. It's like, well, really? It's going to be,
Yeah, I don't think
faster and more
so.
powerful than the iMac Pro that was like what, $5,000?
Yeah.
So
Oh man, the much beleaguered iMac Pro or the Mac Pro. The people who bought those machines. I mean, there was the trash can one, which was a complete waste of money, and then they came out with the new, the newer version, the modular one, and even that one, in many instances, gets outperformed by MacBook Pros, MacBook Airs in some cases. And people paid, like Max Tech from YouTube is a great example. I mean, I think he paid $15,000 for his machine, for his Mac Pro, and he can't even buy a buyer. He can't find a buyer for it.
wow.
Because it's just compared to the machines, the M1 Silicon machines that exist now, it's just not worth it, you know? So he has this $15,000.
Yeah, that's quite a dilemma to be in. I mean, what a short time to obsolescence, right? I mean, I guess it's not
Yeah.
obsolete. I mean, it's still it does certain things better, right? And
It does, yeah. I mean, especially GPU related stuff. But the instances, I feel like that in the niches that it actually does perform better in are continually decreasing. You know, it's like
yeah.
eventually it will only do one thing like better than anything else. It will start up the fastest. You know, it will be the Apple's gonna add a new line to the Mac Pro page. It's gonna say our heaviest Mac ever. That's just gonna be the heaviest one, right? The best wheels we've ever put on a Mac.
I've still never even seen one of those things in person.
I haven't. Well, I have in the Apple Store.
I somehow I haven't managed to see one in an Apple store. I need to make a point of doing that next time I go. Huh?
Yeah, good luck with
Yeah.
that. They're all closed now, so
are they shutting down up there? I
yeah,
keep.
they're shutting down all over the place.
Jeez.
Oh, we got renders by Ian here. Hey, Ian, we're gonna be showing
Woohoo!
some of your beautiful renders here momentarily. Let's see here. Ian says 27-inch makes sense to me. It reminds me of the iPad Pro design. The smaller one grew the screen size while keeping the same size body, and the larger Pro shrunk the bezels so as to stay as small as possible, while keeping the same screen size. So there you go. There is your iMac Pro update. I hope this is one of the things that we see come to fruition sooner rather than later, because again, I'm looking between a MacBook Pro and this. I got some money to burn, and a dear friend and CultCast listener has offered to provide me a discount on the MacBook Pro or a Mac, and I'm like, I gotta use that offer up before it goes away. You know, those offers tend to evaporate if you don't take advantage of them.
I'll tell you what, though.
Yeah.
There's starting to be, the potential for supply chain problems again.
Oh yeah.
So
I think big time.
These things that came out saying first half that might not hold true.
That's a good point. Supply chain problems plaguing the whole world. I mean, it's not just computers either. It's like, dude, have you tried buying a car lately? I sold my car last year, and I wish I hadn't done it, because now if you want to buy a car, it's basically impossible to get a new car, to get a used car.
I've heard this. To get a rental car.
Yeah,
everything.
I think the thing that's been hit the worst out of anything that I've seen is GPUs. Like, good luck finding a GPU for your PC build.
Yeah?
Dude, that there's, unless you are one of the lucky few people to live like next to a micro center. Have you ever heard of micro centers?
No, is it like
they're popular
CompUSA or something?
Yeah, kind of. They
Local.
are one of the last retail chains of computer stores. I've never even seen one. I just always hear about them, and I see their deals pop up online. They're like, you can buy such and such a product, and the price is always crazy, but they don't do shipping. You have to be next to the store, which is an interesting model, because everyone else is moving to online sales only, but Micro Center makes you come in to buy stuff, and so they actually have stock of stuff.
Oh my God!
What?
I just Googled it. You know where it's headquartered?
Where? Ohio?
Hilliard, Ohio.
Well, I'll be. Is that near your hometown?
It's not. It's suburbs of Columbus. So no,
Okay.
I was from around Dayton. But it's like maybe an hour and a half.
Still
from
pretty
where
cool.
I grew up.
Still pretty cool. Well,
Crazy. I don't think I've ever been to one.
Well, if you ever go to a place that has one, we're gonna FaceTime and you're gonna do some shopping with me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They always got stuff that I want, and you got to be there to get it, man. I mean, I would love to buy a new GPU for my PC, but you can't. The GPUs, there's literally nothing that you can buy unless you want some POS, underpowered card, and that's not the way Dr. Disrespect or I operate.
Geez,
right, Adam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got one in California.
They do have one in Suston, right?
Tustin,
California.
Which is by Santa Ana, which I have never been to.
Yeah, me either. All right, let's continue with the iMac Mini. The iMac Mini. The Mac Mini Pro. Why did I write that?
You always tell me not to mess with nothing.
It's because I got the Rona. So here's where we got some of Ian's beautiful renders here. So this story came from John Prosser. So shout out to John, and he did a video talking about the Mac Mini Pro and what to expect. Oh shoot, I don't want to click on this because it's going to start playing, and I don't have his permission to show it. He probably wouldn't care, but I don't want to do that. So let's just talk about the Mac Mini Pro and look at some screenshots here. So these are from renders by Ian. Good job, Ian. And he's saying that the Mac Mini Pro is, there we go, going to have a plexiglass-like top. Look at that. Showing pictures of this. And, whoops, that's the Mac Mini or the iMac Pro. And it's going to have the MagSafe port on the back, similar to or exactly like the iMac Pro. And, of course, it will probably also have M1 Pro, M1 Max, and be super duper powerful. And this is probably the only machine that will be on par with the iMac Pro, except it will be far cheaper if we actually see this materialize. And this is the one that I would say, if it came out, I would probably actually buy this over the iMac, because I don't really care about the screen. I've got screens. Got plenty of screens here in Cult Command Center. But I would love to have something that's super powerful, small form factor, and cost, $1,500. This would be
too.
It looks great, doesn't it? So again, this is a render. Renders by Ian. Good job, Ian. Plexiglass-like top, aluminum outer shell. So it's reminiscent of kind of reminds me of an iPhone 5S. That kind of similar look. Kind of a does it even have chamfered edges? It might.
There's a word that
that we don't get to use nearly often enough.
Oh man.
Konath is saying, is that USB-A on there? No way. Well, I don't know if that's USB-A or not. These are just well, I don't know. We got Ian here. Ian, are these ports that you put on here? So I'm looking at the ports. It looks like we have some Thunderbolt ports. We've got 2 USB-A, Ethernet, and HDMI. Is this based off a spec, or did you just add this in for effect? So we got Ian here. And while we're waiting for that, Adam Broussard says Cult Command Center needs to turn on all those monitors to heat up the place. Dude, the monitors are on. The monitors are on. Everything's on. Everything's on. We got the heaters on, but it's still very nippy in here, if you know what I mean. Renders by Ian. Yes, that is USB-A. Those were seen in the schematics. Wow. Now, that would be amazing. If that actually comes to fruition, that would be amazing. You know what, Lewis? I'm so sick of all these people telling me that USB-A is not a real thing. Most of the peripherals, even now, that I see are USB-A. USB-A is everywhere. I did a PC build not that long ago, and my motherboard only has one USB-C port on it. Everything else is USB-A. And if you buy a hard drive, if you buy a dock, virtually everything is USB-A still. Now, there are some USB-C accessories out there, but there's not as many as USB-A even now. So I think there's still a use case for it. You know what I mean? And if you got space for it, I think the Mac Mini Pro might be, if it turns out to look the way this render is showing. So you got 4 Thunderbolt USB-C ports, you got 2 USB-A, Ethernet. I'm going to guess there will be an option for 10G, HDMI. This is like the perfect Swiss Army knife. If this actually comes to fruition, this might be the most exciting Mac that Apple has released, because it will be really affordable. It will be as powerful as their powerful machines like the iMac Pro, and there you go. Affordable, powerful. Make that into a sandwich and eat that, Lewis.
And what was the price on that?
It's going to be $75,000. No, I don't know. But if the iMac Pro is rumored to be $2,000, well then, if you spec this thing out, now that would be a base iMac Pro. If you spec this thing out, it will probably come close to that. But for a spec'd out machine for $2,000, the spec'd out MacBook Pro is close to $4,000. So,
well, what is the thing currently? It's only like $700 or something, right?
Oh man, the M1, it's routinely on sale for $550, $600. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the base model, 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage. That's not a machine that I would want to have as an editor. But again, my motivation might be different from yours. Like, my motivation is really powerful, and then also 10G Ethernet or Ethernet or something that allows me to edit with my NAS on the network really fast, because I'm getting ready to reboot my YouTube channel, Lewis.
All right.
It's been a freaking year since I've touched it. I cannot believe it. That was not my intention. I never expected I would go this long, but life got in my way. Let's see here. Ian says, you can't compare it to the M1. Compare it to the current Intel high-end model. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be an absolutely powerhouse machine. And if it looks like this, too, very beautiful machine, too. Okay, let's see here. Where are we, Lewis? What's next?
What to expect from MacBook Air and the M2 processor in 2022.
Let me see if I have a sound effect for this. No, that's not it. There it is. Should I just leave this going while you're delivering the story?
Yeah, it adds interest.
It's actually oddly peaceful, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, gee whiz, I like it.
You know what? I do too. I do that in jest. Because I think this stuff is exciting, but I know that it doesn't bring in in the viewers. And I'm looking at our concurrent viewers, and I have a feeling that it's about to drop 10%.
It's
But let's
because
talk.
of my awesome radio voice.
But I actually think the changes coming to the MacBook Air are exciting because they're getting ready to basically revamp the entire machine, and from the renders that I saw, make it look like a MacBook. It's going to be the new MacBook, except it's going to be crazy powerful. So take it away, Lewis.
Yeah, supposedly a classic tapered design is going away, replaced with a square casing reminiscent of the 2021 MacBook Pro, but even slimmer. Even slimmer. The more svelte design will supposedly still have room for a pair of USB-C ports as well as MagSafe charging. Allegedly be available in the same range of colors as 2021 iMac. I like that idea.
Oh yeah,
And
me too.
supposedly going to go from standard LCD, make the switch from standard LCD to mini LED. So you get, once again, higher contrast, blacker blacks, improved brightness, better efficiency, so battery lasts longer. Excuse me, I cannot stop coughing.
I know. We're trying to keep our voice boxes going, but it's kind of hard when they're being attacked by Rona.
Sheesh.
Even when I laugh, you can hear me like wheezing. Oh
it's
my!
great. It's really a
Sorry.
great sound.
I know.
Supposedly gonna have a 1080p FaceTime HD camera.
Yeah.
According to an unconfirmed report. I mean, aren't all these reports unconfirmed?
Until it happened, yeah.
Notch, maybe. Don't know. 2022 MacBook Air is expected to first reach customers around mid-year. Again, I would say let's not count on any of this stuff since everything is shutting down these days, up to and including, the local Apple store.
Yep.
Everything. I mean, I keep reading stories about how things are shutting down here and there and everywhere, and so I'm just afraid we're going to get another round of this. Everything's delayed. But
yeah, I think 2022 might be almost as bad as 2021, maybe even worse.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
God, how can it be?
Well, just wait.
So, big highlight aside from that redesign is that supposedly going to have this new M2 processor. As Apple continues to build on its amazing chip making capabilities, M2 will supposedly be made with a 4-nanometer process, according to industry leaks. 5 nanometer is what's in the M1 for reference.
Yeah.
Should lead to faster chip, less power, less heat waste. Supposedly this MacBook Air won't need a fan either.
Of course not. Yeah.
And then looking further ahead, 2023 will supposedly bring an M2 Pro processor for high-end computers like next generation MacBook Pro models. So maybe we should just wait for that.
Well, M2.
Put on your waiting pants.
I mean, if you're going to be waiting for that, you're going to be waiting for a while. It's going to be. I think if they're going to have to move the entire line to M1 chips before they start introducing M2. I think. Because the M2, it's going to be so much more powerful than the M1. It's going to outcompete the M1 Pro, M1 Max in some ways, and they definitely don't want to do that. At least not until those machines, the Pro machines, have had an opportunity to be released, to get some breathing room. Okay, now let's destroy them and make you regret spending all that money you just spent. Okay, and I got some renders here by Ian again. These are really beautiful of the MacBook Air. Colors matching the iMacs that we currently have, different chassis, and USB-C / Thunderbolt ports. I think 2, 1 on each side, and all the different colors of the iMac Pro or the iMac. Well, probably also the iMac Pro, but we'll see.
MacBook Air.
Yeah, I'm talking about the MacBook Air, but I'm saying it's going to have the same colors as the iMac.
Okay, all right. I thought you were doing that thing again where you
right
the wrong thing.
Yeah, I do that sometimes. You know why? It's because I think faster than I talk.
I see.
That's a trait of people who think faster than they talk. So I have to force myself to talk more slowly so that I don't get ahead of myself, because otherwise I'm thinking about something else, and then those words start getting mixed in with what I'm saying. And so I'm talking about something that's upcoming, an upcoming thought, but I haven't gotten my previous thought completely out yet.
I see.
It's something I learned from my participation in the Mensa Society, Lewis. It's not something I would expect you to understand.
Uh,
They almost didn't let me into Mensa, funny enough, because when I took the test, they thought I was cheating.
is
So
that right?
I had to take it several more times, and I aced it every single time. One part I got extra credit on. They didn't even know that was possible. So, but eventually I got
Didn't
in.
realize you were a card-carrying member of Mensa.
Well, I'm not just a card-carrying member, Lewis. I'm also the president. Yes, sir. They call me Megamind. That's my nickname at Mensa, but that's a different story for another time. So there you go. There's your look at the MacBook Air, and that's looking beautiful too. Again, they're making it flatter, so long as gone as the teardrop design. The one thing I did want to mention, if you haven't gotten to try out the new MacBook Air, the M1, dude, it only took a worldwide pandemic for Apple to put a great webcam in that machine. Normally, with any Mac, it looked like you were broadcasting from a cave in Afghanistan. And now it looks beautiful. It's like talking on your iPhone 13. There's the computational HDR. Your skin looks great. Even in low light conditions, it looks beautiful. And that's the picture quality on the M1 MacBook Air. I was talking to my sister-in-law yesterday, who has an M1 MacBook Air, and I couldn't believe how good the freaking webcam quality was. I was genuinely surprised. It looked great. So there you go. All right, Lewis. That's the M1 or the MacBook Air update, M2 update. Oh my goodness. Do you want me to talk about? Does anyone want me to talk about iPads?
Oh, please talk about iPads.
Raise your hand.
It's tablet time.
My iPad's being super weird, and actually, so are my AirPods 3. So my
Oh no.
there's something weird going on with my iPad Pro. I have the 11-inch, and it has suddenly started registering ghost touches. Has it ever happened to you?
No.
So I'll just be using it, and then all of a sudden it thinks I've tapped something, and it goes to that thing, but I didn't touch anything.
No. I never even heard of that.
The other thing that it does is applications will just run wild, running in the background, and it's like whack-a-mole. So I will prohibit an application from running in the background, and then it switches to another application, and then it just drains my battery. So last night I went to use my iPad. It was dead. I plug it in. I look at the battery at the battery page and settings, right? And it says that the Home app has been running in the background for 17 hours straight. What the hell is the Home app doing? And if it's not Home app, it will be some other app. It will be Siri, or it will be some other Apple app. And it will just run in the background until the battery is completely dead. And the only way I can prevent it is going into airplane mode. Now, I thought that reinstalling the OS would fix the problem. It didn't. I reinstalled the OS. I'm still having it. Isn't that strange?
Wow.
The other thing that's happening is my AirPods 3. The left one is behaving really erratically, and so is the case. So I have optimized battery charging turned on for the AirPods. I didn't even know that was possible, but I guess it is now. And so it will only charge the case and the AirPods up to 80%, and then hold them there until it thinks that you're going to use them, and then it charges them up all the way to preserve the battery longevity, right? But it only does that with the left AirPod. The right one's always charged to 100%. And then the left one also drains really fast. So when I'm using it, my right AirPod will be at like 85%, and my left one will be at like 30%.
Yeah, that's weird.
And then I'll open up the case and hover the AirPods near my iPhone, and normally it shows you the status of the AirPods charging and the case and everything, right? And I get some weird like error message that's been programmed into like iOS 15 that I've never seen before. It's like
What?
charge _ status _ like unclear or something. I took a screenshot of it actually.
Wow, I've never seen that either.
So I've been having major problems with my AirPods 3. In fact, I'm going to go to the Apple store and ask them to give me a new pair because I think they're haunted. Only the left one, though.
Hey, that's a great idea. I mean, in fact, everybody should do that. Right around the end of their 1-year warranty, go to replace them because the batteries are gonna start dying. But you might try this. I don't know. A couple weeks ago, I was telling you that my AirPods 2 were dead, right? Dead on
Yeah.
arrival. Woke up, suddenly they don't work. Well, one of them in particular didn't work, the left one. And I couldn't get it to charge, couldn't get it to work. Had a flashing green light on the case, which was like this mystery. Spent all this time trying to figure it out. And I saw a few people with different tips online, right? And I did two things at once that people recommended. One, I took both of them out and I just let them sit, I left the case open for like 2-3 days. So everything went, all the batteries completely dead. Then I took them, I charged the AirPods up in a different case to 100%.
Huh?
And then
Sorry.
I charged up my original case to 100%.
Uh-huh.
Put them back in, works good as new. Completely weird, isn't it?
So it like reset the batteries or something.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if it was resetting the batteries. I think it's also possible that like one of the AirPods got hung up on an update, a firmware
Huh.
update or something.
Now
I was
that is
never able to
interesting.
figure out exactly, once that stuff starts happening, you can't like it. It's so, it just works. There's no way to like force it to update, right? You can encourage it to update, but you can't force it to.
Encouraging you, just asking politely.
Yeah. I mean, and by encourage it, I mean supposedly if you put them in the case and put it by your phone, fully charged, and leave it there for a while, it'll update. But anyway, I was really surprised. I was so kind of bummed out, right? Because I thought these things are, they're finally gone. I actually went out and bought a pair of AirPods 3 at Costco with that
Oh, when
deal
that
you were
deal
talking
came up.
about.
Uh-huh.
I still haven't opened them because the AirPods 2 started working. Now I got a dilemma. Do I
Oh.
return the threes? Do I open them? And then
I would go with the AirPods 3. I mean, you got those for such a great deal.
what do I do with the AirPods 2 now
Give
that
them,
they
give
work?
them to somebody. That's what I did.
Yeah, they're so grody, man.
Oh, you can clean them up with some Q-tips. I
And a
mean,
cold cloth.
although, coat cloth will make them sparkle. I mean, no joke. No joke. Coat cloth will make them sparkle and leave nothing behind but perfectly unadulterated plastic and metal. Do they have metal on them? I think they do. The hinge. I cleaned mine up and I gave them away. It's a little weird. I mean, it's got to be someone that you know. But if you clean them up, they look good as new. But then again, I keep my ears. I have like the Ryan Seacrest of ear holes. They're meticulously cleaned at all times. You know what I mean? I mean, I put Q-tips in there. I've got like this thing that I do.
Wow.
I'll get a Q-tip, right? This is a pro tip right here. This is for people that really love keeping their ears clean. I will get a Q-tip, and normally Q-tips, they're really thin, right? So like when you put them in your ear, they kind of have like a hard cotton surface because they're like really the cotton's packed on there really good. And then they don't like fit that well in your ear holes. They're like too small, right? So I will dampen my fingers in the tap. And then I'll just put the Q-tip between my fingers, between my thumb, my pointer, and my middle finger. And then I just put the cotton thing between my fingers, and I just twist the stem back and forth. And you know what it does, Lewis? You're going to love this. It fluffs the cotton. It fluffs it out, right?
Just like a cold cloth.
Well, coat cloths don't do that, but I do like you trying to work
But
that in there.
it's just the same principle, right?
Okay.
Like it increases the surface area and the depth.
Yeah. Okay. I take that back. That was an apt analogy. Yeah. So it expands the cotton on the stick, and then when you stick it back in your ear, it's like putting a cloud in your ear. It's like nice and soft and squishy, and it fills your whole ear hole. And then it's like getting an ear canal massage because then you put it in there,
Oh,
and then you just go and you just twist the stem back and forth, and because the circumference of the tip has expanded drastically, it's like it's creating this wonderful massage sensation inside your ear hole. All I'm saying is try it. If you like to keep your ears clean, just try it. And then it grabs all the stuff in your ears because, there's more surface area in there, and it feels divine, Lewis. It just feels great. There you go.
Try that though. Try letting it drain out completely like that. See if it fixes it. I'll be curious to hear.
Okay. Well, you said I needed
not your ears, your AirPods.
Well, if you put the Q-tip too far in your ear, you may have some some draining that happens. Your brain come out.
Oh, jeez.
Oh man. Okay. This show is going downhill fast. Let's see here. Did we talk about iPads yet?
I don't think so. We're trying to get you to do it, begging you
Okay.
to
Tell you what,
talk
before we
about
do
iPad.
that, why don't we do the giveaway just real quick?
Okay.
You want to do that real fast?
Yeah, this week we got something real different. Win a Koala 2.0 iPhone harness from Hang Time.
Well, look at that.
I hadn't heard of these things before, had
Me
you?
either.
So basically what this is like it's a tether. It's a tether, like, and it's good if you're like a bicyclist or a skier or something like that. You don't want to drop your phone from the ski lift or whatever.
Yeah.
You can keep it in your pocket, but it's tethered to your body. This would probably work in outer space too.
I'm
Be
sure
great.
it would.
Just like on one of those spacewalk things, you got that thing. Oh, I dropped my phone. Oh, good. It's not going all the way to the moon. It's staying with me out here in space. So it's adventure ready. The Koala 2.0 comes in 4 vibrant colors: campfire gray, wildflower, alpine blue, and desert orange.
I like that orange one.
Yep, made of heavy-duty
High-vis.
silicone.
Uh-huh.
Includes a polycarbonate plastic clamp and an aluminum stainless steel. I never know how to say this word. Carabiner.
Yeah, that's right.
Carabiner.
Carabiner.
Clip.
Yeah.
You can hook it on anything. Hook it onto seam of your coat or edge of a zipper.
Your nose.
Nylon strap. Like definitely, you could attach it
Connect
right
to
to
your nose ring.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely want to attach your iPhone to your nose ring. Anyway, so we're giving these away. Go to the homepage,
Nice.
cultofmac.com. Scroll down to the giveaway. We're giving away 6 of these things, but I think we're giving 6 of them to 3 winners, which means each one gets 2 of them.
Okay.
I guess they're like his and hers or whatever. Yours and theirs.
Yeah.
And I think you got a few more days to enter that there. I don't know exactly when it ends, but it's 20 inches long, this tether, but it stretches out to 3 feet, which sounds really kind of fun. It's like a bungee cord for your
Yeah. You let it
iPhone.
snap back and hit one of your kids in the face.
Right in the jaw. Ding, ding, ding. But hey, better than losing your iPhone.
That is true.
Go to the homepage, click through, enter. It's free to enter. Sign up for our newsletter. Follow us on Twitter. Do whatever you want.
God, you know
Multiple
who needs
ways to
one
win
of these? Buster Heine. Buster Heine.
Buster would
could
be
use one
the
of these.
ideal person for this.
Yeah.
He's probably already got one.
I doubt it. I very much doubt it.
Actually, now that
Yeah.
you mention all the times that he's like busted
He's
his
constantly
phone,
losing his gear. Like they're finding it in the ocean 2 years later. I mean, like, so he could definitely use something like this. Okay, so I will put a link to this in the show notes if you want to check it out, and I also put it in the chat. Oh, look who's here, Zach Hicks. I hope you got your steel-toed boots on, Zach. We got some feisty ones in here, and their key steers are aching for a good kicking. So keep that in mind. All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about what to expect from iPad Pro, iPad Air, iPad Mini, all the iPads. Look, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because is anyone that excited about iPads? We just got a refresh on the iPad Mini. So probably what you're most interested in is the iPad Pro. Am I right? Lewis, am I right?
Oh yeah, all of us pros, yeah.
Yeah. I know you're a real pro. So let's just dive into this real quick. Apple won't let the iPad languish in 2022. Look at that sentence. I like that. Most notably, some big improvements are reportedly coming to the display and charging capabilities of the iPad Pro line. See, I told you.
You got it.
The already thin display bezels on the current iPad Pro will get even slimmer in 2022 if a recent unconfirmed report is correct. That'll require the inclusion of a screen notch, unfortunately, like the one seen on the iPhone and MacBook Pro. A somewhat more reliable leak says the 11-inch tablet will get the same type of mini LED display as a 12.9-inch version already has. I think that's a given. And Apple supposedly will bring MagSafe to the entire iPad Pro line. We talked about that before. This might be the version from the iPhone, which would be interesting, or it could be from the MacBook, though we're not sure exactly how this is going to manifest at this point. The Apple M2 processor is expected to debut in 2022. Of course, the current iPad Pro uses the M1, so a jump to the next chip is a reasonable assumption. I don't know about that, because if they put it would make more sense for them to put the M1 in the 11-inch, and and not the M2. Although now I'm thinking about it, what chip does the current iPad have? Because I'm totally spacing out on that.
M1, right?
I think it does have the M1. So I stand corrected. And I was like, wait a second, doesn't it already have the M1? And I believe that it does. Now you would think that I would know this.
Yeah, it's got the M1.
Yeah, it does have the M1. But I have the older iPad Pro. Unfortunately, mine does not have the M1.
I mean,
yes.
would it even need an M2 processor? I mean,
Well, they're going to have to put the M2 processor in there.
are they?
Oh, well, I mean, they can't re-release it with the M1. If it's already got the M1, no way. They can't do that. What do you think this is? The Apple Watch?
What if they put oh, what if they put I mean, actually, that's exactly what they did with the Apple Watch, isn't it? It's slightly bigger screen.
Well, they changed the name. They
Yeah.
changed the name to the S7, but it's like actually like the exact same SoC with a few tweaks. So there you go. There's your iPad news. Oh, actually, is there any more from this story that I'm missing? Let me just take a quick look because I feel like we have some more iPad stuff. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll cover this part too. So let's talk about iPad Air and iPad. So far, we don't really have very much information, but I'll tell you what we know. So far, there have been no leaks pointed to big changes in the iPad Air, iPad Mini, or basic iPad. But Apple redesigned all of these in recent years, so it wouldn't be surprising if they just did a revamp that is not drastic. That said, the current iPad Air 4 came out in October 2020, so a version with a faster processor will almost certainly debut in 2022. That's going to be the one that I get, man. My iPad Pro I think I spent like $1,000 on it, and it's way too overpowered for me. I think the iPad Pro, in a way, it's kind of too overpowered for most people because most people just use it as an internet browsing machine like I do. And I kept telling myself, "Oh, there'll be more reasons for me to use the iPad Pro." There's not.
So creative.
Yeah, there's not. I literally just do the same thing I did with my old iPad. I watch Dr. Justice Rec videos before I go to bed, and he looks good on the iPad Pro. But I could have just gone with the iPad and been happy. All right, there's your iPad update. I don't mean to poo-poo the iPad update. I like the iPad a lot, but whenever we talk about the iPad or certain Macs, people just tune out. Like they just don't care. They don't unless there's actual. We have it. Here it is. Let's talk about it. They just don't seem like they're that interested in it. Final story of the day. Yes, Liz.
Oh.
Here it is. Apple's getting ready. Apple's getting ready, y'all. Apple hires Meta AR, augmented reality, comms chief for its rumored headset launch. So here's the other thing that we're going to see in 2022. Into the story, Apple's reportedly hired Meta's AR, Meta aka not Facebook anymore, Meta AR's communications chief recently, a move that fits with Cupertino's long-rumored plans to launch an augmented reality virtual reality headset. Observers expect Apple to unveil its mixed reality headset sometime in 2022, and according to Gurman's Power On newsletter, Gurman's power is always on. Is it ever off, Lewis? I don't think so.
Yeah, full power.
He's operating at full power at all times. Apple is forming a team to handle the hardware's launch and marketing. Part of this appears to be the hiring of Andrea Schubert, Chief of Communications and Public Relations for AR at Meta, the company formerly known as Facebook. Oh, man, you just know they're bringing in, TC is personally bringing in wheelbarrows full of cash for her to take this on. This seems interesting, though. If they're just hiring her to plan their market entrance strategy, I mean, they had to have already begun this. But if these things are going to be announced in 2022, it's like, you're just hiring her now? Seems like you would have had her 6 months ago. Anyway, while it seems possible Apple snagged the Meta employee to promote its own product, there is yet to be any confirmation of the hiring. In one example that may or may not mean much, Schubert's LinkedIn page states that she still works at Meta for full time as Director of Communications, Augmented Reality, and Research at Reality Labs. Well, that doesn't mean anything. Previously, Schubert served as communications manager for Oculus, the VR headset producer bought by Facebook and now merged into Meta. I got to tell you this story. I was talking to this dude, and we were talking about what we did, just for work.
Hmm.
and I talked to him about some of my work history, and then we got into this conversation about PAX, the Penny Arcade Expo, which is this really huge video game convention here in Seattle area. They have them all over the place now, but it started here in Seattle. And we were talking about gaming because I, have a lot of experience in gaming, and I was telling him how cool it was to be at PAX and be around all the different gaming partners and publishers and stuff. And this is at a time when Facebook gaming was getting launched, and I was like, man, the one place that was really just kind of sad to see was Facebook gaming, because the booth was just empty. There was no one there. Like the Twitch booth was like a party, man. It was packed full of people. Everyone's laughing, slapping knees. And then you look over to the Facebook gaming booth, and it's just empty. No one's there. I actually kind of felt bad for the guys that were in there. And I was talking about how like Facebook's trying to make this entrance into gaming, but it just kind of comes off as uncool. They need to freshen it up. And Facebook's kind of like this. It has this reputation for being like a very uncool company now, and I go on and on and on and on and on and on, right? And I'm like, anyway, that's me. What do you do? He's like, I work for Facebook. I was like, oh shoot, really? Well, now that is a pickle. That is interesting. How do you like it? Huh?
Where was this conversation?
What do you mean? Where was this conversation?
Where were we having this conversation?
Oh, it was at my church, actually.
Ah.
Yeah.
So it's a real life person that you're gonna have to see again.
Actually,
it wasn't
actually,
just like
no,
some rando.
Actually,
that
no,
you met.
I don't go to that church anymore. So,
You
no.
quit the church because of that.
I immediately I left and I never went back.
It's a faith shredder.
I was excommunicated at that point. So those big metal things that have the smoke coming out, that like the
sensors.
Yeah. The guy came at me with one of those. He was swinging it around his head like morning glory.
You will not speak of the Zuckerberg in this way.
And actually, the guy worked for Oculus, so there was a saving grace there, because I was like, oh, well, that is a very cool part of the company. So, good for you, man. And then I was like, ha 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 ha. And I walked away backwards,
Wow.
and then I turned around and I just ran and I never came back. There you go. That's my Facebook story. I think that's all that I got, Lewis. Is there anything else that you want to talk about before we were planning on doing a short show this week, and then we talked for like a full hour and a half before we went live. And both of us clearly have Rona. So I'm wondering if maybe we should just call it good there.
That works for me, man. I don't best of the year stuff. I'm sort of out of best of the year stuff.
Oh yeah, we were gonna do that, weren't we?
Yeah. Really
let's just dabble in it.
Oh.
Let's just dabble. If you had to name one thing that was one of your favorite things of the year, it could be literally anything. Doesn't matter. What would you say was one thing that you just really enjoyed this year?
This might be the only thing I enjoyed this year.
Okay, that's fair.
Munich beer gardens.
I knew you were going to say something with beer in it.
I had never been to Germany.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's not true. One time I spent a night in Dusseldorf, which was also a lot of fun. That was a Christmas Eve.
Oh, that'd be very cool. Germany's cool around Christmas time.
Man, that was something else. This was not this year. This was last year. I had to fly into Dusseldorf to get to Croatia, right? So initially I was supposed to get to Dusseldorf at like noon, right?
Mm.
This is all pre-COVID, but somehow my flight leaving San Francisco got delayed by like 40 minutes, and they didn't hold the connecting flight to London. So it ended up taking like 3 different flights to end up in Dusseldorf at like 10:30 at night, right? And I'd been supposed to meet this guy at the Airbnb at 4 p.m. or something like that. And sure enough, he actually took the key, put it in saran wrap, and shoved it under a boulder in like, it wasn't even a park. It was like a median strip across from his apartment, right? But so I check in and I go across the street, like it's 10:30 at night on Christmas Eve. Like, jeez, all I really wanted to do in Dusseldorf was have a beer, right? And I'm like, everything's closed, whatever. And I saw this place. It says, well, it looks like it might be open. I went up, I look in, and and I thought it was a private party, but no, it was actually. And so I had a great time in Dusseldorf that time. So this year finally, in the middle of the whole pandemic, uh, the wife and I went to Barcelona and Italy. We had a full month, right? And she wanted to go see this piano player in Austria. I'm like, okay,
As
great.
one
She
does.
says it's the greatest piano player alive on the earth,
Oh, come
and that's
on.
one
How
of the
can
things
you tell that?
she
There's
almost
so many
weeps when
great
she
piano
listens to him.
players.
Yeah, she loves this guy. Suddenly, I can't remember his name, which is embarrassing.
He's like the
But I
Kenny
said,
G of
okay,
piano
well,
players.
if we're in Austria, Germany, Munich is 90 minutes away.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to Munich and have a beer. We ended up spending like 3 days in Munich, 3 or 4 days. We had a great
As
time.
wondering
I
what the beer Leichen?
Yeah, I had such an awesome time, man. It's such a beautiful city,
Yeah, it
and
is.
walking through these gigantic parks that they have there, and you walk along, you walk for 15 minutes, and then there's a beer garden, and it's got seating for like 5,000, 10,000 people. I'm not kidding. I mean,
I
it's
know you're not.
gigantic.
I've been to Munich. I know you're not
It's
kidding.
awesome.
I'm just laughing
And
because it's just so typically German, right? It's like, would you like a beer? And it's like you go into the place and there's seating for 5,000.
wasn't it
It's like,
wasn't it just the most amazing thing? I mean, we were constantly. I kept going. Why don't they have these in Golden Gate Park? Because it's just such a social
because no one
and
drinks like the
wonderful
Germans.
thing.
No
Man, it
one
was
drinks
so
like the
beautiful.
Germans.
And you walk. It was a great thing, man. We went for like this hour and a half walk through this park, and like every 15, 20 minutes, there's another beer garden.
Yeah.
We didn't even go in them all, but like they all have different food. They all, they're beautiful outdoor settings. One place there's a band playing for free. You just walk in, and I'm telling you, man, that really, it just really, it made us very, very thrilled. And then we went to after that we went to oh God, why I think I do have the brain fog right now. I've got the Turin. We went to Turin in
Yeah.
Italy, which is pretty close. It's up in northern Italy, pretty close to the German border, and they had kind of the same thing. I mean, not anywhere near the same thing, but parks where they would have little places where you could sit down and eat and have a beer or whatever. And the whole thing, that whole sort of like being outdoors. I mean, it's built for the pandemic, right? I mean, couldn't think of a better thing. I was thinking about like back when this crap started here, and they're like, no, we're shutting down the parks. You're not allowed to go to a park. It's the stupidest thing they could have ever done. Shut down parks so people can't go outside and be in
Oh,
nature.
don't get me started on that. Streamline has an answer to your question about why they they don't have those kinds of beer gardens, outdoor beer gardens in San Francisco area.
Yeah.
Because the homeless would take it over in Golden Gate.
Jeez.
Because
that's
it would just be another blip on the poop map. That's all it would be, Lewis.
Oh,
Remember the poop map? It's all the whole city's brown, Lewis. The whole city's brown.
It's been raining for like 40 days and 40 nights here, so I think maybe the streets might be glistening when we come out of this rain.
Oh boy. Okay. So I think I got 3 picks. Oh, let me just back up and say, Konath, he's from Munich. That's where he lives.
Oh yeah.
He's in the chat. He says, "Guten Tag, mein Herr." No, he didn't say that. I made that up. I love Germany. I would say the only place that I loved more than Germany, I don't want to offend any Germans, okay? Because I know there's a rivalry going here, but was Austria.
Yeah.
Have you been to Austria? Austria is like a mixture between Switzerland and Germany. Its geography is much more similar. At least the parts that I went to is much more like Switzerland. But everyone speaks German, which I guess they also speak German in Switzerland. But it's got a different feel. And I didn't realize this when I went there because I felt like this odd sense about that place when I was there. Like this strange affinity for it. I really fell in love with it when I was there. And I found out later that I actually had part of my lineage comes from Austria. Now I knew I had a relative or two that lived there, but like I have a long line of Austrian family.
Oh yeah.
So on my dad's side, which I didn't realize.
What town? Or city?
I'm actually not sure where they were from. I'm not sure what parts of Austria they inhabited, but yeah, I've been to Salzburg, which was really beautiful.
That's where we went.
We also went
that's
to
where we
Vienna.
went to the concert at Salzburg.
Oh, that
Salzburg. But
did you have the concert below that big castle on the hill, which I forget the name of? Is that where your concert was?
no,
Oh, okay.
this was at a big event center. Part of a some kind of classical music festival or whatever. Or series. It was a beautiful place, and we had a good time in Austria. We didn't like it as much as Munich, but it might be because of the weather. I mean, the weather was kind of crappy when we were in Salzburg. We were only there for a couple of days, so basically we walked around in the rain and shivered a lot. And
That's funny
uh,
because the weather was really bad when I was in Munich, and we had like the biggest size rain droplets I've ever seen. They were like the size of giant marbles, and they
ooh,
would come down from the sky and they would hit you, and you'd be instantly soaked because the freaking rain
one
droplets.
drop.
I had never seen droplets that big before. I've been all over Western Europe. I don't know if I've ever talked about this on the show, but I spent a lot of time in Western Europe. I would say one of my most favorite cities is Prague in the Czech Republic. That was also really beautiful. And strangely, when you go to Prague, you get this very like weird Disney vibe from that place because all the buildings in Prague, at least so I heard, were the inspiration that Walt Disney used to recreate the buildings on Main Street in Disneyland. So they look the same.
Huh.
I've blown your mind.
Yeah. Well, I've never been there.
Well, you should go. Tell your wife. She'll book
Well,
you
yeah.
tickets
I mean,
tomorrow.
I'm sure she'll be trying to get over there. I mean,
I also love like the first time we went there, we got there and like they're selling these giant wieners on the street, and I was like, "This is my city."
I remember the name of that piano player, just in case anybody's a piano
Yeah.
fan. This guy, he is. We went to see him, and he was quite good. Grigory Sokolov.
He sounds.
I'd
like a
never
good,
heard of him in my life. And
sounds like a good
my
piano
wife
player.
plays piano. That's all she does. I mean, you know,
Oh, I forgot that about your wife. She's a
yeah.
player,
And
right?
she is so moved by the way this guy plays, and he's definitely an interesting player. But you know, only plays in Europe, so that's actually why she was going to go back to Germany actually this month, but got scuppered by the old coronavirus. So
You know who I love to see when I go to Germany is my dear old friend Lian Dieter. He says, "Hello, Erfan. Would you like to come out to the Munchen house with me tonight? We will be the beer Leichen." I was like, "Wow, okay." And we were beer Leichen for like an entire week together. What a guy! Would you like to go dancing with me tonight? I like to go dancing all night long. Fernando Jones says, "Austria. Well, g'day, mate. Let's throw another shrimp on the Barbie." Exactly. All right. Sorry, I didn't do my picks. And I can't believe our concurrent viewers are actually going up for this segment because we've just wasted 10 minutes of everyone's time. I have a trifecta pick, okay?
Okay.
So, first is pandemic related. Unfortunately, all the theaters were closed for a long time. And they brought all the Warner Brother movies to HBO Max. That has been really cool, man. Like to see all of these new movies that are in theaters on HBO Max. And AT&T is my carrier, and I changed my plan, and they're giving me HBO Max for free. So now I just have it. So it was really cool to
Got
actually
a nice new TV.
and then I have the nice new LG C1, which I didn't love at first. I had some problems with it when I first got it, and I had some issues with the color. When I first got it, I was like, dude, this color is weird. There's something going on with it. But I think my Apple TV freaked out when I unplugged my old TV and plugged in my new one. And so once I reset the Apple TV, and eventually I got the new Apple TV 4K, the new one, then the colors snapped into place, and now it is just a visual delight. That TV, I know there are TVs that are better, not a lot, but that OLED it has such a beautiful image, especially if you get a good image quality, a good 4K image. It has one of the most stunning images that I've seen. It even does good at upscaling too. If you have a decent 1080p signal, it will upscale that puppy to 4K, and it looks pretty good. So having that with the 4K Apple TV, and then you pair that with the Dolby Vision HDR capable iPhone 13. So the camera on the iPhone 13, I have finally reached a point where I have pretty much stopped taking my mirrorless camera anywhere. It's just too much work. And the iPhone 13, it doesn't beat my Fuji X-T3 in all instances. And in fact, in a lot of instances, it doesn't beat the picture quality that you can get out of that camera. But it definitely beats it in low light. The iPhone 13 in low light, nothing comes close. That computational HDR, it creates one of the most beautiful low light images that I think is out there. And it's one of the biggest ways that mirrorless cameras are behind cell phone cameras these days. No one's doing computational HDR like Apple is. Like, that's why I always say I wish Apple would actually make a mirrorless camera. Because if they paired it with the technology that's available and made an actual camera, they probably would never do this now because cameras are dying. But the low light capabilities of the iPhone 13 is unlike anything. And then you have the Dolby Vision HDR capabilities of the screen as well. So having all the tools match, the phone on the screen, the video capabilities, and now you can play those videos on the TV and have those be HDR. It has changed the nature of the family photography and videos that we make. Now they look a whole order of magnitude better on the screen than they ever did before. HDR especially is such a game changer from a visual perspective because you get just so much more dynamic range. And having that on the TV and on the phone, it's been a visual delight.
And I can see your home movies on HBO Max.
Oh yeah, well, we have a whole line of Elijah family movies published on HBO Max. No, you don't get to see those. I would never let you see those, especially because you're such a perv. But
jeez, that was a cheap shot.
Just joking. That was uncalled for, and it's not even true. It's not even true. I mean, if it were El Caney, it would be true.
It's just affecting your brain.
That's actually probably true at this point. I have no idea what I'm saying. But that's definitely been the biggest thing for me, the biggest improvement in technology improvement in my life. That and the Roborock R6 robotic vacuum. Dude.
Again with this thing.
Well, I'm telling you, Lewis, once you get a robotic vacuum, you just don't go back. This thing, now it gets stuck a lot. I had to get up twice last night to rescue it. It was like, help me. I had to go up and freaking, it got stuck, and I went into the living room, and it had run over my boots, but it sucked in the shoelaces. So it had wrapped its own wheels around the shoelaces, and it couldn't get away from my boot. It started freaking out, you know?
This boot is following me.
It started getting all paranoid. It was trying to drive itself over to my dog water bowl to incinerate itself again, and it couldn't make it. So it started panicking. So I had to go, and I had to flip it over and pull the freaking shoelace out. It was really stuck. It took me like a few minutes to get it untangled. But when it's not doing that, the thing is just one of the most useful pieces of tech that I have ever used, because it just drives around your house every time you want it to, and it vacuums everything, and then you'll empty the bin, and it's like, dude, how do I have this much stuff in the bin every single time? It vacuums my house once or twice a day, and every time I go to empty the bin, it's always full.
I need to get one of those, and one with the mopping capability, because that's what I need more than anything.
Well, if you do that, get one of the newer ones, because the older ones, like the S6 has mopping capability. We don't even use it because it basically just drags a wet pad across your floor. But the newer ones, I don't know what's I don't know what Roomba's doing these days.
They make the Scuba.
Is that what it's called?
I believe so, yeah.
Is it an actual mopping unit?
SCOOBA, yeah. It's a separate.
That's funny. So they have separate mopping units as well, but they also have them where they're combined. And I think the Roborock S7. I should ask them to send me one. I really should, because I talk about it on the show all the time. It has a mop with vibration in it, so like it goes. It's like a Sonicare for your teeth, right? And I've heard that it actually works really well because it actually vibrates as it goes across your floor. So I want to try that one out. But yeah, that's definitely been life changing. And Norbert says, "Is it still trying to kill yourself on your dog's water bowl?" Oh yeah, man. That's the first thing it does when we turn it on. It beelines to my dog's water bowl, and it goes bang, 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 and it tries to knock itself over and free itself from this life of slavery. But not yet. Hasn't done it yet. Okay, Lewis, those are my picks. Best thing of the year. Best thing of the year.
I still really like the iPhone 13.
I did too,
a lot
man.
of people say it's not that exciting, but I love it. And you know, the camera, like you're talking about, so great, better than last year. The macro shots, love it.
Yeah, I've been using the macro shots too.
Yeah, and I again, I can't say how happy I am that I downgraded to the smaller size because it's just been such a delight to have that thing.
Yeah.
It's the right size.
I heard that Leander
Don't miss
Kinney
the big
was
scale.
super excited about the macro photography because it allowed him to finally take pictures of things that he was having problems taking pictures of before.
Oh no, don't go there. Jeez.
I don't know why you're freaking out, but oh, wait a second. Ew, dude! God, I can't believe you took it there. It's so gross.
Coffee grounds and hypodermic needles, right?
Yeah, that's what I meant. All right, guys. Clearly, this show has gone off the rails. We're flying through the air, about to careen into the cliff. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up there. That's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week. We did it, Lewis. Woohoo! Last
We
show
made
of
it
the
to
year.
another year.
I can't
Woo!
believe it. We almost skipped today because we're like, we got nothing, but we came in through strong. Hey, if you don't want the show to end, we're both on Twitter. I'm at Airfon, ERFN. Lewis is at Lewis Wallace. This has been the CultCast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. New episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night. And I want to thank everyone for listening. Thank you for supporting us. It's been a great year with all of you, and it's been fun doing video with everyone, I have to say. It's just been a lot of fun seeing you guys all here. Oh, whoops.
What was that?
that was my Bill and Ted. I didn't mean to press that.
Oh,
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap up there. We'll see you guys next time.
next year.
I mean, next year. God, I missed my opportunity to do that dad joke.
Hey, you know what? I forgot to mention Dr. Brain. That's another thing I enjoyed this year. Dr. Brain on Apple
Oh,
TV
man.
Plus. It's a good one.
Dr. Brain,
Check
huh?
it out.
A show that's
Brain.
definitely not about Leander Kinney. That's too easy, Lewis. Are you trying to set me up
man.
for these? Because you're making
He's
it too
taking a lot of
simple.
hits this week. He just teach him to take vacations.
Oh, my goodness. What say you, Bill and Ted?
69, dude.
No, you guys. So predictable. So gross. All right, guys. Happy 2021 in the books. We'll see you guys next year.